Okay, so I had a bunch of things I wanted to talk about, and the video from yesterday still only has 6 views. I don't know what they're doing. Like, I just feel like I don't know. Like, they just, what the hell they do. I mean, the last comment I had was the lady saying you couldn't hear the video. So I don't know. I can hear it. I can hear this stuff. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're just putting people out there to interfere. I have no idea. But anyways, I'm still going to give my opinions of this day. So whoever gets to hear it, then they can get to hear it. So, anyways, one of the things, oh my gosh, I am so fucking sore. I can't even believe it. Like, I can't imagine, because I'm laying on the couch, and I'm so uncomfortable. And if I even go in my room, Stella just like starts crying, and so I just keep sleeping on the couch. And my legs and my shoulders are super, super sore. And I kept being like, well, is it the couch or something? Like, this is wacky. I mean, there's people out sleeping on the fucking ground right now, and you can't handle a couch, girl? Like, I know I've got a princess in the pea syndrome. Like, I can feel the smallest thing. But still, to the degree this pain is, it's like, what in the hell? And so then, and then with Stella having so much pain. And so then yesterday I asked my company, and they said they were having pain. So I know it is the chemical, whatever it is. And what's so sucky too is because it's like there for a while, it was like heavy metals, and like it's the effects of the heavy metals, and then there's chemicals, and then there's a frequency. But then all of a sudden there was like this onslaught of chemical spills. And just yesterday alone, I saw 4 different footages. Somebody was gathering them because there was so many chemical plant explosions. There was like, I think there was one in China. There was 4 around the globe, huge, like billowing chemicals up into the atmosphere. Always everything is very strategic, is the thing, and where something goes, they control the wind and stuff. Like, they know, like I had noticed, I don't know what these things just all of a sudden will just stick out to me. Like, I'll just notice something, and then they'll just like show me this thing about it or something. And when I was traveling, remember, and I was at my mom's, and I was sleeping out in her little shed. There was still a shed. But anyways, I can glam it up, or glam camping, or whatever it's called. I can handle it. I mean, I've got camping a lot. I'm not a total little wuss. But anyways, she's got, like, I heard this sound that was traveling. It was so weird. And I was sitting there listening. I was like, this sounds like a train or something. Like, what is this sound? It sounds like it's not low on the ground like a train, but it sounds like a train. And so I kept listening and listening, and then I started hearing her wind chimes blow. I was like, oh my God, that's the wind coming, and how it was coming. And so I said something to her the next day about, like, it was crazy. And she said that they have this place that the wind will come through. And so I think that they find, like, they know about, they're always looking for portals and ways to do stuff like. And so I think they look for certain locations that have a wind, a velocity, so that they can really shoot it out there. And so, fuck, I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not up there measuring this shit. For all I know, my mom's is big, and they're going to get a big old spill over there. I mean, it makes sense that they would for Washington State, because of all the trains in Spokane. It seems like the likely culprit, and it is a lot of people, and it's been building up a lot. So, and it's got a lot of, every place it starts building, it is like, it's almost like progressively run. They choose places, that they promote it for certain things. Like in Washington State, I mean, once it became legal here to smoke, it became like a hub. Like, it was, all these people came, so it pulls in a certain people, just like how those certain cross the border and like all certain people. So then you can control, like, oh, because then you can lead them in other ways. And So it's all by design is the thing. And getting certain people in certain places. Everything is these strategic moves. Put this here, put that there. We're going to have that go there. Like it's all like, it's so much like that movie. It was a cool visual, and I talked about it I think a couple months ago or something, and it's just like it won't go out of my head. It's so much about what this place is like, and people just don't realize it's the perspective. You're so fucking narrow-minded. Yeah, it's controlled, but still, like, something in you should be like turning on and being like, open your mind, open your mind. And even the mind opening is controlled. It's like it's mental. Um, let me see back to what I was talking about. Now I've got all these things coming into my mind. Pandora's box, the wind, the wind of change. It is the winds of change. And things are moving, things are changing, things are moving fast. And they control this stuff. Oh yeah, the movie. So that it had like all these little people, us, down there running around, and then they'd run out and worship, like, oh, please don't hurt us. And I would have these big overlords over them controlling the environment so that the people would be running scared, and that they would just be laughing at them, which is so much about what the purpose of these people. Like, they've lost purpose. They've lost all their stuff. They've been here too long. They don't have appreciation for life. Like what I was saying yesterday, they don't have appreciation for the game. They've lost appreciation. They've got it turned into a sickness, a virus, an infestation in the galactic system. If you get my drift, why that, like I explained a long time ago, like why, like the white blood cells came to clear out the stuff. Like it all it all explains itself. Like everything shows everything else. Like it's all this micro macro thing. And so now I gotta get back to what I was saying again. Oh yeah. So when the people, they're like spraying water on them and stuff like that, and then sitting back and laughing, well, that is like what these overlords do. And see, they are bigger than life. They are unimaginable because the people see themselves as small and peons. They don't see their own strength. They think something is over them, so they allow something to be over them. It all comes from within. It's the opening from within to see that there is nothing that can be over you. It's only your submission that gives them the right to be over you. And yeah, they trick us generationally. That's why I said it's like it had become a disease. And these people have lost all appreciation of life. Like this planet would be very different if everything that they had was given to the good. If it was done for something good. Like they've lost a feeling of what that feels like. Doing something good feels so good. It's like it almost seems unfair. Like almost like somebody who has like $1 million who can, like, I swear to God, I mean, this just came to my head. But like somebody who had a lot of money who could, like, I'm sending over evacuation. I'm going to evacuate people. I'm going to put, I'm going to build this whole neighborhood of trailers, to get people to relocate. And the problem is, I mean, it's all, even a rich person doing that right now, it would be very, I mean, some people would jump on board, but other people, it would be very, on guard, like, what the fuck now? Because this is the thing, when you look at the map, because there's a lot of people looking at different maps, like the ZBA, like a lot of different maps you can go on and look at this point. And that's where you can see like the strategically placed disasters, and that in here where they're hurting us into the middle. The whole thing about how they bought the middle, like Gates owns most of everything that they're trying to hurt us into. But the interesting thing on top of that is the subtle hurting from moving us from the coast inward, because the coastline's going to change. And so is that like the universe is also working in our favor, because that's where we're going to end up anyways. And so, we're going to end up in the middle at some point. Like if it's next year, if it's this year, if it's 10 years from now, I mean, the coastline's going to change. The landscape's going to change. It's already in the process. I think somebody was even saying something about that it had been too long this way, but I think that is why they don't even, like, things are not like the measurements they say. Even if you go and look at all these different maps and stuff, they have things at different sizes. And that is the flat earth stuff that caught my attention in the beginning, was the guys who were going out and trying to walk these maps and like really map them out and see. And I was like, guys doing that. And they were telling their stuff, like, this stuff is not what it says. And it's like, man, everything is a fucking lie. Like, and it makes sense that it's a lie. That's the thing. It seems so obvious that you have to, you have to allow yourself to be tricked. And that is going to be the hard part when people haven't done their ego work. Because tricking somebody who hasn't done their ego work is going to get nasty. That's what I keep trying to say, like, push and push and push for healing. But a lot of this is going to be what's going to push people into their healing, push them into this ego death, into this, like, oh my God, it's like, it's going to be shameful feeling for some of these people of how blind they were, how biased, how underdeveloped their senses were, underdeveloped their sense of self, to not even recognize something. So anyways, there's going to be a lot going on with a lot of people, and that's why all the other people who are awake, and this is your testing yourself, for instance, how your patience works, your love, your acceptance, your support. It's a role that you're playing so that you can witness yourself. So always keep that in mind. Whatever role you're playing is so you can see yourself. Do you want to see yourself lose your goddamn mind? Like, most people get very embarrassed when they lose their mind, because you feel that sense of like, I lost control. Why did I lose control? Why did I get mad about something like that? And so we get an opportunity to go in and question ourselves. And so that's what all these things keep happening, but people keep focusing on what's out there in the 3D and getting all caught up. Today I did this video because this one girl, she was like, and she always does really good videos, and she was like, I wish somebody could explain to me why we have this all this huge crisis here, and then at the same time they send this huge amount over to another place to help them out. Well, we've got all these problems. So I did a video, but it was like, people don't understand like the things I'm saying until they see it. And it's the absurdity. It's like the outrageousness isn't because it's all really happening. It's because it's coming to show, to bring up this awakening, because every motherfucking thing is about the awakening. And people keep thinking, oh, it's about this, it's about that, it's about this, it's about that. No, it's not. And, but there's some crazy things I wanted to say about more stuff with these explosions and stuff like that, because it's, man, I've seen so many people showing like a lot of birds are falling out of the sky and dying. A lot of people with pet birds are having neurological problems and stuff like that. They can't fly, they can't stand up. Chickens. One guy was saying, if this is all in our mind, then tell me why do my dogs and cats also have explosive diarrhea? So everybody, he said, in their whole house has explosive diarrhea, like he said, exploding out of them. That, and people are going to have different things too. This is what I've been saying. This is their loophole, is that the DNA that makes us specific, and the targeting of different chemicals, just the same way that they can isolate and create medicine. They do that inside of us. So some people can have a completely different reaction, and so then they don't put two and two together. Like, I've been pointing out so much lately about, start noticing that the chemical symptoms from poisoning are the same for sickness. Like, wake up, people. Like, they are going to definitely whatever they have got on people, whether it came out of a trend, like I've seen a welder say, it is impossible to open those things up. He said you could drop them 1,000 feet from up in the sky, and those things will not open up. And he said, hey, for them to say that these are just opening up and letting all these chemicals out, he's like, there's no freaking way. And so, but how many times people have been caught going and spraying into creeks and spraying right over neighborhoods and stuff. So, and they're very, very good with these isolated incidences, you know, because I know we've been being sprayed for a while. And it gets to be really stressful too, is like, because you can't go just do like zeolite and detox the heavy metals and shit. Like, I don't even know at this point what fucking chemicals. I mean, the muscles in my joints are so under attack. I don't feel so much with my neurological, but that was damaged a while back. Like yours, if yours is all like, oh, you know, it could be certain things that, you know, I'm used to is being attacked on other people. Because I've seen a lot of people talking about neurological things, like people now, like they've got dementia and they're 30 years old and shit, like all sorts of wackadoo shit. You know, and people just, it's like, put it all together, people. It's environmental. God damn, how many things does it take for it to happen? Fuck. And so now it has been, they've enough people with the water thing. So now it was on the 17th, it was in Kentucky. It had traveled like 270 miles and it wasn't contained. And that was the 17th. I don't think it's been contained. It's not going to be contained. This is purposely doing this. It'll always be this 1 mile ahead. Oh, we're catching it. It's up ahead. You know, it's just fucking games. Keeping people on the edge of their seat. Oh, it's a movie, remember? Gonna get you built up, the tension, like, oh. So everybody's on the edge of their seat. So, god damn, I need a fucking beer. Get me a beer. You know? I need antidepressants. And then, you know, I mean, I can't, you know, what people are being pushed to have to deal with right now is a lot. That's why so many people are going to lose their minds, like I'm saying. People are going to lose their minds through this stuff. And, you know, like, go in and kill their own family. You know, it wasn't even that chemical that you saw happening to somebody else was very isolated. Like, this is so much games going on in everything. That's why it's like you have to be aware of the game. You have to be aware of what's going on, but you also have to be using your senses. What's happening right here, right now, right here around me. Like I saw a guy saying that he was embarrassed about going on and saying that he was having no chemical things and where he was and stuff like that. And his water was running clear. And he said, because then you get so attacked. And he's not trying to spread like don't fear, but he's just trying to say question things. And what this guy's tapes have got me on is what he was showing. And this is, so I'm going to say these words one time, and then I'm only going to refer to them by the beginning letter, because I think that this is something that they're going to start flagging, because it's just, it's like you got to see what they're going to flag ahead. It's like you got to be kind of looking out. Everything is like you got to be looking out ahead. And this is something. So, you know, about Chernobyl. And so that's C. And then, so when we were kids, when I was a kid, I don't know that they're teaching this anymore. When I was a kid, they taught us about this horrible nuclear disaster during the wars. And at this point, I don't even know, was this to start a war? Was this an ending a war? Was this the Korean War? Was this World War II? I don't even know at this point. I'm so, I mean, when you start finding out about all of this stuff, it's just lies and bullshit. It's insane. But so Nagasaki, so that one, and then Hiroshima, H. I don't think they're teaching about it anymore, but they told us these horrible stories about, you know, when they use these nukes, and even in the alien ufology community, they talk about this going on, and that is, when that interfered, the H interfered with actual souls, like souls were actually lost during that. And so that they weren't allowed to use that. That's the whole premise behind why they're not allowed to use nukes in the atmosphere or galaxy. Like that's a radiation frequency that nobody's allowed to use or something. And I saw somebody the other day saying that the aliens are coming here because they want our nuclear power information. I was like, what in the... What? Oh my God, these people. I swear to God. I swear to God. I don't even... Oh, you gotta just laugh at some of this shit. It's fucking... Oh my Lord. So, anyways, that, so this guy's videos, so he goes on and he's like showing about the sea. And nobody's allowed there. It's going to be for 3,000 years. And I don't know, like, how much went out, like, if we're going to measure it, like, how they even measure this stuff. Like, there can be a whole thing, like the missing link to this whole entire story or something. But, so the sea is not inhabitable. But it grew, like this wild, crazy vegetation has grown. I believe there's even some new kind of animals and something, like it's become its own reality in there. Like new things are living and experiencing in this area. So contained, think about contained areas and us being a contained area. And because, like we're a diseased area as well that is healing. And so if you think about the sea place being a contained place, but it still is the whole reality. There's things growing, there's life, there's things expanding there. And so that's where people have got to start seeing, like, what reality really is. Like, a fucking bacteria's life is a reality. Like, everything is a reality. And people think, like, oh, no, it's... I don't know. This flesh and blood thing has really confused people. So, anyways, about matter and the denseness and where we come to so that we can feel. And yeah, we have to feel pain to be in a place like this, but we have to feel pleasure. And if you are just in a soul atmosphere, you don't feel those things. You don't get to feel, what does it feel like if somebody touches me and stuff? What does it feel like to be hugged and kissed and stuff? What does it feel like to hold someone's hand? So those things, you come in to feel at this vibration so that you can feel what something feels like because of the denseness of the atoms, but it is not any more here than anything else. That is why when we start really letting go of these limitations and understanding, we will be able to just disassemble and reassemble ourselves, I think. With the help of like how Star Trek, how they did that stuff. Yeah, I think that is how beings that are more advanced than us do, because it is this just moving of your energy. And when you're holding on to this avatar, this ability to be able to move this avatar, like, I think that is what all of this, like so many of us are going through this awakening for, is to stay in our energy into this avatar, to continue this experience as this avatar. And I don't know how, how this shit is going to get. Like, I don't know. Like, it's like, well, we'll have to see. But, so the sea one, nobody is allowed to go there. 3,000 years, I think they even have it big chained off, but I think people sneak in to go see, and there's scary movies and stuff made about it. So I think there's folklore and stuff, but there's probably all sorts of creatures in there. And so then the H one was the one that they terrified us with, like with the stories. But I mean, people were melting right in front of people. There's reach out and try and grab somebody and their skin would come off in their hands and stuff like that. And, the real atrocities to what a chemical can do to the experiencer. like melt you away. Like if you think of it in a hard drive, pouring something on the picture and it's just melting away. That's what it really is. But in our minds, we think it's something else. But so they have the H1, all of this like whole built up story. And then the N1 too had a whole thing about, it seemed, and I don't remember, but there was like these two bombings, and it was, wiped out these villages. This is what we were told. And so anyways, this guy, and I never even thought to even look this up. And this guy went and got pictures of like nowadays in the N and the H. It just fucking looks like just a regular old city. It looks like, Seattle and Dallas or something. It's like, okay, so in the C, nobody can go there. You can't go there. It's destroyed. And then over here, the same chemical. And then you're saying that, I mean, obviously they didn't wait. They didn't even wait 100 years. I mean, this is a thriving metropolis. Did they start building the next day? Did they start building a week later? Like, when did it start? How long did they stay in the safe zone? They have to wait 3 years, 10 years, 20 years? And why did they come back, and why is it so, like, I mean, things just don't add up. And then when you start hearing about all the fucking lies, then it's like, man, like, I mean, when people start saying about the Holocaust was a lie, and I was like, no, it's not. I was like, very much like, no fucking way. And then, but still, it opened up something in my mind, like, oh my God, they could lie about that. Like, they could totally lie about that. Like, everything that you hear about, like, when I heard about Sandy Hook, and somebody starts out, I was like, oh my God, they could totally lie about that. Like, I mean, totally. And like right now, they've got, a bunch of places, crisis actors needed immediately. So they're going to start having things on the news, leaning people in a certain direction, leaning them to stay, leaning them to hate the government, leaning them to take the new med, you all be leaning them somewhere, and who knows where they want to lean them to. I mean, Jesus Christ, like I said, like everything is up in the air at this point. Like, you just don't even know. I mean, to me, you don't want to fucking lean where they want, and then the way they want to, export us into a certain general region, and knowing what their plan is, and then having to like totally trust, like, man, it's just like this is a mastery level game. Like, there's no fucking no kidding about that. This is mastery level. So, but then if all of that was lies, like, I don't know if there's people, like, we have people who were at that Holocaust. And I'll tell you another cool story that I had just seen, and it was a man, a really old man. I think he was 86 years old or something, and it was his birthday or something. I don't know what the deal was, but why, but his wife found this like a diary, memory book kind of thing that this guy had hidden. And so she went and she looked through it, and she saw that during that period of time I'm talking about, that he had rescued, I think 800, or it could have been 665 or 865. I think it was 665 kids. He couldn't get their parents. He could just take the kids. And he took them to, it seems like it was, he took them from Czechoslovakia and took them to England. He took them to 2 different places and found families for him. And he had this whole log he had kept with pictures of him and stuff. And he had never spoken of this to anybody. His wife had been together with him for like, I think 58 years or some crazy thing. Like, had been together with him so since he was young. And she didn't know anything about it, she said. And so she took it to the media. And so the media hunted down the people and had them all in this theater. And this happened like in 2005. I mean, this could be a totally old story, but it was so beautiful. And it just kind of goes with what I'm talking about anyways. But they gathered all those people. They took him to this auditorium and told him it was for something, a show or something, I don't know. But it was all of those kids. Just like gets me all emotional, man. All those kids grew up and wanted to thank him. And almost every single one of them, I think their families were wiped out at the A one. And so I was just like, it was so moving. Oh my God. But so, I mean, we have evidence to me. I mean, that would be a lot of crisis actors, a lot of how do you even get those tattoos to look old when they've had those people? Like, I don't know. I mean, I think it really happened. But I'm really questioning the H now in the N one, because why are they seeing the chemicals are so bad, or are they just trying to control the C one? Like, I mean, it's weird. Like, it would have to be one of those things investigate. Like, is there a lot of cancer there? Is there a lot of certain diseases? Like, why would people keep moving there then? Like, I would really be curious to, talk to a really old person there, and find out, somebody who was actually there, who knew, and then, do they go and find these people themselves and then MK Ultra them to give them the story that they want them to say? Like, that's how shady this place is. Like, this place is fucking shady as shit, man. God damn, and these people are they aren't just a step ahead of us. They're fucking decades ahead of us. Like, we're fucking barely catching up to even what they've been fucking doing to us for generations. So, this is fucking insanity. But, so, I don't know. And I don't know. I mean, they definitely, the air is interfered with over there. Like, there's places it's bad, real bad. Like, there's going to be some things that are going to go down with some people. It's going to be a chemical thing. And is it going to be the scare tactic that's going to move everybody in the middle? And their whole plan is to, get us in the thing to force these, because of course there'll be a new sickness that will be developed that they've got the cure already. We had it. Magic. It's like, fucking fuck off. And the fucking people at some point are going to wake up and go like, magic? What? How did you get that? This just came out, like, this disease. Oh, well, we found it 10 million years ago. Just all of a sudden, it came out and we found it. And so then we've been working on it in the lab, and just mysterious, which the universe works that way. But that's the only way that they even know to even do and say some of that stuff. That's how they use it's not the meaning of life. It's what life is all about, how they use it against us, and how they are always trying to siphon out this this new energy out of these new births. Like, this, man, it's like how that Ankh thing in the meaning of life and what they're trying to hide in this birthing process. And then when all this life is coming in to have this experience, to be in this reality that you have to be birthed into it, that you are into this reality, and you are like contracted, you're playing a part for everyone around you. And so then, there's a whole thing, like, and then it's like they're interfering with this whole thing, and then they're not telling it, and they're confusing the story. And so they're taking the meaning of life, what life is all about, and they're distorting it. They're confusing it. But then as life enters the place, they consume it and see that, but they've lost all concern or caring or something. It is like this vampiric, like they live off of this. Like, another person who's all over the place now, Kathy Griffin. God, she looks like, she's scary looking. Like, man, like, fuck, dude. And I'm pretty sure with the evidence I've seen, it's like she probably is fucking, what's his goddamn name? Anderson Cooper's brother. Like, there's a whole thing about the Vanderbilts, and that's his mom, and there was 2 brothers, and then, like, there's some weird shit. How I don't know what happened with the one brother to disappear, but all of a sudden Kathy shows up and is the mom's favorite. It's not, like, there's weird shit. Like, go look into it. You draw your own conclusions. But there's something weird with Kathy Griffin. And, you know, she's constantly having to do all those surgeries and stuff. Probably because she's trying to hide the fact she's a man. And she probably wanted to be a woman anyways, because she's like was a tiny man. I wonder how big Anderson Cooper is. I think he's kind of tiny too. And like, how many of these people are just like, man, they fuck with their own kids. Like, it's so crazy. And just a little side note here is this one guy has been showing this footage. It was so disgusting. I can't even get it out of my head. It's literally disgusting. You know, I don't know what goes on in these other countries. The only reason even just all of a sudden came into my head, this woman just said about the abuse that's going on, and it's accepted in so many countries. And it was disgusting what they did to their daughter. Oh my God. Oh my God. And they're on TikTok. And, you know, they're not getting strikes. They're not getting, like, oh my Lord, have mercy. Oh. The stuff that is out there that is not being censored, and what is being censored is just so fucking over the top. It's so disgusting. It's the same thing. It's the absurdity. You gotta see, like, this is gross ass shit. And, like, but let's accept that, and let's not think for ourselves. Let's shut everybody up who's trying to talk about that. So, so they got the air, they got the water, and they've got it all over the place. They've got the people who are already having the effects that are saying stuff about acid rain. I had said something, there was somebody who did a TikTok, and they had the whirring outside, the sounds like this whirring, like a machine, like this big giant machine. And for something to make that much noise, it's like, what is this, like running the fucking, like the whole hologram world that we're living in? Like, this is crazy. How is it this fucking loud? And so somebody had caught that, and I had been talking about it. And then I said that even when you're trying to hear them, like, they'll mask the noise using other noises. And I saw somebody talking about that in there too. So see, I'm not the only one saying that. And then this worrying thing, but in that, there was other people in Washington State who were also saying, and on the stuff about where I said about the slimy stuff in the water, they said also people are getting things that are burning their fingers, and that it's not just slimy, it's also something else. Like, people are noticing. Like, I knew I wasn't crazy. I knew I wasn't making it up. You shouldn't be able to feel slime on the water. Every time I get out of the fucking shower, my hair should not look slimier than when I went in. Like, I use a lot of oil on my face. Ooh, which I just saw this lady, and she was almost 70, and she was showing she had no wrinkles. She had like a little bit of wrinkles right here, but she had no wrinkles on her neck, none of this saggy skin or anything. And she said for 20 years she's been using Vicks Vapor Rub, and she puts it on her neck. I think she does it every night because she does it because, as she said, it soothes you to go to sleep. And she puts it on her neck, and then she said if you don't feel good either, rub it all over the bottom of your feet and put socks on and sleep with that. And she said it makes her feet so nice too. She said the people, when she goes in to get a pedicure, are always like, oh my God, cannot believe you're almost 70. Her feet are like soft little baby feet. So anyways, I was just like, I don't know what all's in it, but she said it will. And, if you are having problems with breathing, which I should do it, is dump some in water and then boil the water, and it'll evaporate into the air, and put that eucalyptus. And so she's been doing a long time, and I don't know, her DNA, her whatever chemical makeup of her works, may not work for everybody. Like, we all have different effects. So anything that you do, don't just keep doing it because it worked for somebody else. Like, pay attention to your own body. If your body starts on fire when you put it on, then don't keep doing it. You know, like, listen to your body. Don't listen to other people. But anyways, I was like, oh, I love that smell. I love mentholatum. And it does give you that peaceful thing, because for older people, that was like, that's what you got when you were sick. You got some mentholatum rubbed on your chest, and you got some 7-Up and some crackers, and maybe a glass of juice. But I don't know. It seems like it was mostly mentholatum. I mean, you had to be pretty sick to get cough syrup. Like, medicine wasn't just shoved down our throat all the time like it is now. Now, if you are fucking don't believe in taking medicine for everything, you're anti-science. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna be anti-science at this point. Like, I'm watching the OA. She wanted me to watch the OA with her, which, oh man, she's doing so good. Like, I can't even, like, oh gosh, it's so nice when you do things where you know. I'm not gonna pat myself on them. It's nice to put good energy out into the world, is all I'll say. Like, we should all, it makes you feel good, put good energy out. Good energy will come back to you. And so it feels good. Anyways, the OA, and it is showing all, and they dropped that series too, because any series that has truth stuff, because that one is just going from reality to reality, and she meets up with people from other realities in that reality, because that is the truth. We do go from reality to reality with each other, where everybody gets so caught up and fearful of like this reality because it's like dramatic, but there's a point of the dramatic end, is each ending has a reverberation to the people you leave behind. So you leave an impact of how you leave, because something they need to heal. So, if they watched you suffer, it brought up a lot of things in them that needed to heal. If you left them instantly, it brought up a lot of things that they needed to heal. Like, all of the stuff is always to bring things up in you to heal. So when people leave us, it's always, but so then we all get in this fearful, scared thing about it, especially the dramatic things. But as the energetic being, it doesn't affect you, because you're not really flesh and blood. You're not really, you leave before you have to feel the impacts of a lot of that stuff. And that is what drives me crazy on this fucking being poisoned to death, is those long drawn out, like, oh my God, everything fucking hurts. I'm going fucking blind. And it's like, motherfucking shit. It's just, that aggravates me. Knowing that they have, that they can interfere. And just like that guy said, if it isn't that they really aren't interfering, then how is it affecting his cat and dog? And that's the same way I see. It's like, guys, it's not like as I want this to happen. This is, and the hard thing is where people say, oh, you're manifesting this shit. Then why is it affecting people that are completely oblivious? Like, are you, goddamn, people with the fucking, I'm going to grab this little term and this one, and I'm just going to say what I don't know anything about it. I have no idea how it works, but it's like, go fucking watching Abraham Hicks. It's not going to make you a goddamn expert on manifesting. Going and watching how manifesting works in your own life, understanding how your energy and what you're bringing to you, you will understand your own manifestation when you start working on that ability. I just saw this other woman who has sight, and she was inner sight, and she was talking about, like, she can't even believe how hers is like getting so crazy. She's like, it's crazy how much it keeps going and improving and stuff. It's like expanding. And that's what I keep saying. It's like these, your gifts or something, your stuff just keeps expanding as other people are just waking up. If you are already having gifts and stuff, you know, they're getting better. They're like, you're fine tuning them. You're understanding them. You're working with them more, just like what I was telling her. Anybody can become an artist. Like, it's eye hand coordination. I mean, a lot of people have gifts, abilities that you start doing it and they'll just go fast. Like immediately, they're master, because they've mastered it in some other life. They already have that inside of them. They are able to tap into that. What's also crazy too is this woman. This is a girl, and I don't know if I already said this. This is an artist girl, and she was one that was involved with the whole White Noise movie. And she was saying that her friends are not, the ones who wrote it didn't know anything about, like they're not into that. And she said, I think that, I think artists and other creators, just like scientists and stuff, had had to tap in to this other realm. Like you relax your mind, you tap in, you go into this other place in yourself when you go into creativity. And so then that opens you up into this universal consciousness, depending on your own vibration, your own ability, your own understanding, your own connection, your own awareness, all of that stuff. But like I had said before, like a lot of people get these stories and they don't know where they come from. Well, I know where they come from. And I knew in the 6th grade when my teacher told me that if you think of something and you don't act on it, bet your ass some, 6 other people got the same thing, where people call them downloads and stuff, because it's all out there. All of our information is out there. And there is information out there about coming events or showing us things so that we will understand. They're always showing things, like they communicate different than using words. They communicate in pictures and signs and things like that. And so it's a translation, it's deciphering, it's trying to understand. And then you can also use communication tools and stuff yourself so that you can communicate back and see if you understand what they're saying. And even like I use numbers a lot. Like if I'm onto something, I'll get a number. If I'm not onto something, I'll get a number. They use numbers a lot because I pay attention to the numbers and they know they can communicate with me through the numbers. And so we have that communication tool. So each person develops their own. You can do it through music. You can do it like all sorts of ways. Like in that show, OA, I thought it was super cool when they were doing things about this whole mirror, and they kept making a whole thing about this one mirror. And it's like, you don't need that one mirror. It would be, you could put any mirror in that place. It's the area. And so, it's the energy of the area. And so they're running to try and get this one mirror, but I don't think. I mean, you can have a mirror, I guess, that would hold an energy and is used as a portal. So yeah, I guess you can just use a mirror. But anyways, when they had the whole thing about the mirror, I was like, man, they could just be in that room and go get another mirror and try and, you just use that energy through that portal if you're trying to communicate and open up a portal. Like, just because that mirror is gone. Anyways, but I thought that was cool when they were doing that also in that show. But another thing they show in the show besides that is the fucking mad scientists, and that they don't give a shit about people or whatever. They're only, I want to get their name in a history book. They want to go down as being the one who invented this or invented that. And they're all in competition. And they... what's even crazy in that one is because they're trying to understand this other world, the world here that they try and master, but they want to know more about this other one, what happens after. And a lot of them do get consumed with that, but they're always trying to prove that nothing happens because they have a lack of their own soul. That's why these people who run this world, these ones that have lost connection, lost track of what it means to live in life and the beauty of love and giving, that they have found their perfect culprit, their perfect evil villain, the egomania of a scientist. I mean, they have been proven over and over and over. They're fucking, they're so, the egos and the need to go down as the discoverer, like the Einstein, and then even when you get to the point of like when you start seeing all the shady shit that goes on with that, with Tesla and Einstein and stuff, like it's shady shit, like all of it was with the light bulb and Tesla and stuff. And then with the power gen, like there was so much. There is so much science, like the real people who we should be admiring that have been murdered and hidden You know, some have been paid off, but not all of them have taken payoff. Some of them will sit in prisons. Some of them are, you know, dead and buried. They are, and they are the ones who really, you know, did figure out things to help us and stuff. The people who do the opposite, the Frauds of the world, you know, like, oh, I can figure out how you can kill a lot of people at once. Yeah, I got all the formulas. You know, those fucking evil villain motherfuckers. They are the ones that people sit and worship in this upside down world. It's like you're worshiping the person who's fucking killing you. Madness. You can't say that. Tried saying that in 2020. Like, oh, you're crazy. You're so crazy. Oh, Roseanne Barr's out on the road now. She's outspoken about all this stuff. So she's speaking out. Who did I see? I saw another one too. Because Tom Green, Roseanne, there's going to be more and more. There's going to be more and more because the safer it becomes, the more. And, you know, I don't know. I mean, some of us don't know how much of it is, like, controlled about who is speaking and what they're releasing. Because I think the Twitter, like, I think that's being very controlled. I mean, I know TikTok and YouTube are being very controlled. I know I'm being very held back. Like, you know. And I know that the stuff I talk about is going to impact some people at some point. So, like, I don't know, you know, how everything is going to keep going, but I do know, like, that there's going to be more and more people speaking out. Like, they said that this one wackaday guy who, you know, was like, sitting there calling him I don't know, like a drug addicted woman abuser or something, that I think he's the one who said that he's the first one who spoke out off the list. And these people are so convinced. Like, how do you know what the hell this list is? Like, even the guy who supposedly made this one with the pictures is saying, like, I don't know if it's real. The ones that, all the way back when they started releasing the list, it was like, how does anyone know, like, this is real? Like, there's some names on here I would not think would be going there. Like, yeah, there's some names that you would think for sure, but they don't have to go to that. Like, those places are everywhere. Like, people are so way too hung up on this fucking list, man. And the shit is going to come out. The truth is going to be exposed. We're going to see who's the rotten son of a bitches and who's not. They're going to, when Trump has said since all the way back in 2020, he brought it back on the table about the election, the whole thing. And then just saying it the other day, we're going to see a whole lot of this, and this coming up here real soon. And that is what is going to be. Like, all of this stuff blowing up is to blow it all up, to just bring it all out there, throw it all out, so we have to see it all. And all of this stuff with the chemicals, and man, there's so much. There's so much. How they've got the chemicals placed. Like, I think it's Vancouver, up by me. I think there was some sort of thing or something. It was something in Oregon. It would probably be something in Seattle. Like, I mean, we're surrounded. But I mean, I've said we are already being affected by whatever chemical we were gassed in. I mean, it was like we were fucking in a gas chamber all goddamn summer. It was like fogged in. Like, it was fucking bullshit, man. And then I would leave out and be like, oh, it's just my little area. And then they'll be like, oh, well, that's just because it's the valley. It's just because it holds it there. Oh, well, isn't that convenient? Real convenient. Well, that's just the smoke of the fires. Well, that's just this. That's just that. Smoke of the fires shouldn't have, like, a moisture. Shouldn't be fucking fog. Like, man, I'm just, yeah. But, you know, I mean, I'm proof that you can be poisoned for quite a long time, and, you know, you'll just have some pain. You'll have, I bet, you know, I'm not on, I've detoxed a lot. Like, that's what I was saying the other day, too. It's like, if you haven't detoxed a lot, like, I'm not taking other chemicals. Like, I don't even take a Tylenol. I'll sit here and smoke myself out in pain before I'm going to fucking take some other chemical on top of the chemicals that they've already got us on. And no telling what chemicals are on that shit. Like, oh, man. I just saw, like, on all the, and I had said this shit, I don't know, well, definitely last year. I said all of these places have the government of okay to, it's legal, then they can come in and say, yeah, we're going to make it legal, but you have to use this cat whisker fertilizer. It's the only one you can use. That's it. You have to use it. Oh, which by the way, with the guy with the explosive diarrhea, he went around showing all of his pet food, because, it's not my pet food. My pet food's good. My chickens are on the Purina. Real good, dude. Real good. Guess you're not paying much attention to that story. The cat's on the Purina, and the dog's on the Pedigree. It's like all of those are full of fucking poison, dude. So one poison on top of another poison on top of another poison, you're gonna have explosive diarrhea. There was a lot of days where I said here, like, man, my stomach, I don't know what they just dumped on us, but man, this is mental. Even to the point that one day where I was like, I think I'm going to the bathroom blood or something. I don't know, like, it was weird. I've gone to the bathroom pure yellow. Like, I don't know what the hell they are, I don't know. I know that we've been under chemical attack. Like, I've been seeing it for a while. I knew that they were doing stuff to the atmosphere. I knew that they were localizing experiment. Like, I knew all of these things, and I've been saying them, and you see the map of all of the chemical spills and all of that stuff. And it's definitely very much in certain things. They're about to start, moving us into certain areas. And so things were going to heat up in the areas they're trying to move us out from, just conveniently, who owns everything. And so anyways, things are going to heat up to, start, because it's all about controlling our movement. I mean, I don't know how anybody can't see what the 15-minute cities. I just saw this little girl. She was like 12-year-old schoolgirl, and she was British. So she was speaking out to a big crowd. They were all out there and speaking out against it, because they were already starting that one over there for them. And so they've already divided it into districts and stuff. And so this little girl was like, so if I go over to my friend's house in her district, she's in a whole nother district, she has to go out and walk over to go, through all the rigmarole or whatever. But then if her parents try to come and get her, rather than going the 10 minutes now that they just have to go over and get her and then go home, now they have to go outside of their thing, go around a half-hour drive to come into the other zone. She said, how is that helping the environment? How is this what they're doing helping the environment? Like, and when you consider, like, but people don't ever think, they just are, oh, convenient, more convenient, convenient. Did you say convenient? I heard the word convenient. It's like, can I be lazy? Do I have to not do anything? Can I stop thinking? Can I just sit here and do a lot of nothing? Well, maybe I'll just sit and look at my phone and just do nothing. It's like, oh my God. Why is convenience such a lure? All these people who think about convenient will also think about, like, where are your kids playing at? They're going to be playing with the kids from school. If they go in and they start dividing these areas up in these districts, in these kids, and then they're just chopping up neighborhoods and stuff, like, it doesn't make any sense. That's not going to be convenient. And it's going to be controlled. Everything is going to be so much more controlled. Everything is to get more control, to control our movement all the time. And everything is about controlling our movement. Now they're going to do this whole big thing of moving us in and all this thing now where they've got these people on this new medical thing. And that medical thing just so happened to come out in that area 2 weeks ahead of the disaster. Oh, that stuff, see, it's so fucking absurd. Like, god damn, even with the slap, I knew that motherfucking slap was about alopecia. I knew it was to draw attention to her fucking new pill. that she's representing, because all of our fucking hair is falling out because we're all being radiation poisoned. So everybody's hair is falling out. So what do they got? They got a pill. You know, we can all take the pill rather than stop the radiation. Let's just take a pill. Let's take another chemical. Like, how about, why don't you just stop radiating, poisoning us? That would be helpful. Stop poisoning us. That might be helpful. Then maybe we would feel better. How about that? Let's try that. Maybe let's just try that for 6 months. Let's just stop. I think when the power all goes out, like when the grid goes down, I think people are going to feel relief. I think people don't realize how stressed they are by the constant frequency that is pushing in on us all the fucking time. So anyways, you know, we'll see. But to me, I mean, there in Kentucky, there's Alabama. Oh, it was Alabama. It was where that woman said that she went and looked for the crisis actors. And then she said that she said, I would ask, and I said, where did you look? And she said, just Google crisis actors in my area. And you go in and you see who's being hired in what areas. And when she went and looked, it was her little town is hiring them immediately. So that's a good thing to know. Like, okay, we're about to have they're going to do something here. And then these are the people that they go talk to on the news, the people that they have the story. They give them the story. They tell them, you know, what they're going to say on the news. You're going to talk to the news. This is what's going on. And you're going to go in and say this stuff. And some of them, they even do like a whole big play. Like, okay, we're doing this thing for the firemen and the first responders. So we're going to do this crisis, pretend shooting, and everybody's going to come in and they're going to do a whole pretend thing. They get all this footage, people on the ground and stuff, and then that's the footage that gets released to the news, and it's not even fucking real. So it's like everything is like it's you know, movies being created around us. And like, it depends on the person, how, you know, drawn in do you get, because you've got to be able to pull yourself out. You got to keep pulling yourself out, even though sometimes, you know, you just want to go all in. Well, like, I mean, these people are in fucking crisis. You want to go over and rescue them. People are asking, just please send us water. Please give me this. Please give me that and stuff. And you got to be like, man, I know, like, this is what their soul, this is their thing, you know. You can't, as a being, you can't get all caught up in your ego thinking you can go around and rescue everybody and make everything better for everybody. Because, you know, that's a whole lesson. That's a whole lesson, you know, as you needing to understand your ego. You're doing too much. You've got to let go of some things, you know. And, oh, and what was it? I saw, this was a cool thing too. Because it was somebody who had done something. They had done something. It was a long while ago. And it was something they had done and they held on guilt or something for. And then they went and did something to help somebody else out. So kind of, you know, the thing that they had done before, then they had awareness of it. So then when that opportunity arose, then they could, is that redemption, is that like cleaning it up. It's like, oh, I see. Oh, I can do something good now. I can help somebody. I can be aware of this or whatever. Can't remember what it was, but that is just part of, you know, the people awakening and seeing, you know, like, you get to play the part you want to play. You don't always have to be the certain thing. Oh, maybe it was that one woman who has been talking, because now she's got a big following of all these women are, you know, like, I didn't realize I was so stuck in my masculine. So see, and she's one of those liberal women who had all these women following. So all of those women, because you could see, when you would see them, they're all so angry and mad and ready to burn it down, fuck men, and stuff like that. It's like, you know, you've got to come into touch with the divine feminine, this feminine side of you, while we're being attacked. And they're telling us that we don't matter. They can stick a womb in a man if they want to. They don't need us. And we already know, like, that's a whole part of their scheme anyways. I mean, you go back and you watch old movies, like, women have been so disrespected for so fucking long. And women, you don't need to be mad. I mean, we don't want to turn into men and be respected because we're playing their game. No, we want to be ours, be respected for who we are, our abilities to stand strong and still be nurturing and loving, to not be the conqueror, but to be the nurturer, but to still have boundaries and be a strong woman, is that assertive side of us, the side of us that can stand up for ourselves. We don't need to go into anger, and we need to heal those wounds and let them go so that we don't draw on that, so that we can stand strong, like an oak tree or something, uh, a beautiful tree in all of its glory, not, this withering, angry, and they've even, I saw a thing where they said so much stuff is coming out also with all the water thing, is all of this medication and hormones and stuff that has never been cleaned out. So all the medicine that everybody else is taking and all of the hormones that everybody else is taking is in our water. And these were guys talking about it, and they were saying, you think that possibly that could be why we've got so many more men, this whole feminine thing about men, men growing boobs, men just becoming more feminine. Well, because they're messing with all of our hormones. That's their whole thing. And all of that stuff is coming to the surface to show us that they, we've been lab rats the whole time. We have been, they look at it as like chattel, like we're their game. We're just their little game. They've lost touch with what it feels to have love and humanity. They all will screw any of them, each other over. They fucking don't have any feeling towards their own children. Like, these people are just this empty vessel that needs to constantly suck the energy out of someone else, and they do it through, vampirism or whatever, by this consumption of infant, that's just the way it is, and they'll have their own shit, all the things. Like I think I interrupted myself yesterday, but just like I was saying, like a Jennifer Aniston case, I know I made this point a long while back when I think Matt Damon was telling us all that we needed to, because his friend has got lowered immunity. Well, your fucking friend should be staying home. You fucking kidding me? But what I was talking about then, and this keeps coming up more and more to me, is when you are pulling people, so when you've got people going on this energy, like even anything that I talk about, how I affect anybody else. Now, I am attached to that effect. So how I affect, so if I go around preaching hate and preaching, division and stuff like that, and I create all of that through other people, I am still held accountable for the effects that I created. That's your ripple effect of the energy you're putting out into the world. That's why it's so important to always be mindful of your energy. But so the people who are putting out this negative, dark energy, that's why when they go back around, like, they've got things so out of balance that, they probably would need to take a break from incarnating, because they're going to go through some fucking very challenging, hard lives in order to clean up the mess they put out there, because they're going to have to go in and experience what other people experienced from what they had put out into the world. So then they get to feel the effects of what they've put out. That's how it works. That's why, people have got to be mindful. Like, think about what you're putting out there. You want to feel the effects of that, because that's what you're putting out will come back on you. It's like the law of the universe. And so, like, where they want to break it down into other things about karma and cause and effect and stuff, that's what it is. And so, Jennifer Aniston, like, misleading people and then creating that energy in people who did listen to her, and then the outcomes of those things, that is associated to her energy. She didn't get to just say it and then it was gone. It just went out into the ethers. No. Your energy has a reverberation. Everything you're putting out reverberates back on you. That's cause and effect. That's the law of the universe. That's the way everything works. So anyway, she's on the move, so we better get to going. She's the panting. So like, I know she's struggling, man. She is a fucking trooper. Like, seeing what these other animals are going through with the neurological stuff with the poison, and knowing what she went through and how hard she is rehabbed. I mean, this girl is so dedicated to me. I love her so much. She is like, I want to do life after life with her. I don't want this to be the only one. I'm sure we have a lot. I mean, I'm sure we have a very strong connection. I can look in her eyes and I can feel that. I mean, when she cracks me up when she'll look at me. And then sometimes there's so much expression in some of the things, and I can read what she is saying to me. And when she'll do, like, she has certain side views, side eyes, she's got the like, what? And then she's also got the, like, are you what? There's all these different ways. It's just so cute. So anyways, I wish everybody could get the opportunity to have a relationship with an animal that is so special, where you get to really connect with this other species and really, communicate with them. Oh, and little Mr. Squirrel, the one that's so interested in me, I think I can feed him out of my hand today. He keeps coming up on the porch and hanging out. And when I go out there and I throw the nuts, he'll come running right up. I can throw a nut right there. He'll come running right up. And yesterday, even I was sitting there, he's just sitting out there. And so I look out and I see him, and he just sits there looking at me, and I just sit there looking at him. And then when I went outside, he'll just come up and just sit there and look at me and look at me. I just wonder, like, what does he see? And I have seen so many videos of other animals coming up and trying to communicate with people. And I know that's all about this. The vibration is changing. We're connecting more to our environment. And that is, part of our environment, they're blowing it up. And so, but we are connecting more in this energetic, like, into nature and the animals are noticing, and they are, wanting to communicate with us. I saw the cutest little video of this little boy. He can even barely talk. He just said words that you could kind of pick up what he was saying. And he had his long blonde hair. He was really cute. And he has a little gopher that he's trying. It wasn't a little gopher. This thing was almost as tall as him. It was up to here on him. And it was standing on two legs. And it was... kept grabbing him, and Stella will get this, like, when she gets excited, she'll get fabric and she'll suck on it, like nursing. I think a lot of English Mastiffs do it. I think they get their moms aren't very nurturing, and so when they nurture themselves, they'll find a piece of fabric and suck it. Like, it's so cute. I think it's cute. But anyways, this gopher, it looked like it kept trying to do that to him. It would grab his clothes and be like that to his clothes. And these women, like, it's like his mom is over here, like, monitoring the situation. Then grandma's over here getting it on film. But they're both scared of the gopher. They're real on guard of this gopher is going to get him and attack him and chew him up and bite him or something. And the kid is having so much fun with this gopher. And the gopher's trying to play with this kid. Oh, my God, it was so cute. And I was just like, man, if we weren't so scared of, like, oh, everything's got rabies, everything's out to get us, and we could really just connect with the world around us, the beautiful part of the world around us, not the ugly part that's trying to kill us. They're forcing that on us, but the beautiful part, that, because that's what it's all about. That's the magic of being here, is being able to, communicate with other beings that are in other little experiences, and to really understand their experience. And, everything matters. We all matter, and everything matters. So, you matter. And so and there's going to be some bad stuff. Like I've been saying, like, we're not getting away from the bad stuff. I definitely wasn't seeing it coming as like a total chemical assault like this. Like, I thought we were already getting our big chemical assault. I sure didn't think it was going to all of a sudden be like fucking bombing us all over with these fucking chemicals. So now it's like, man, Who knows? I mean, now they got this huge weather storm going through that's supposed to affect 125 million people. It's supposed to affect the air quality, the snow. It's supposed to pour rain on them, where all these people are like, all this acid rain. There's something about the atmosphere and the cold and what it does to this, oh man. So I don't know. There's going to be more bad stuff. You know what? We just all got to keep remembering that none of this is real. It's all just a movie. We're just here in a game. The part that's real is what you learn from the game, what you take from the game, how you develop yourself. That's what's real. So keep that in mind when you're looking at everything else. And everything that is highlighted to you is to show you what you need to learn, what you need to work on. So anyways, work on you and stay safe. And, I don't know. I mean, they're going to start evacuating certain people and start moving them. And they probably will start with something on the East Coast, because there probably will be a bunch of people who will die. And then they'll be like, oh my God, I guess we are in danger. Let's all move. And then just knowing, like, that they could literally go and just drone strike certain people's houses. Man, it's mental. I swear to God, this place is mental. So anyways, don't let it exhaust you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.